Yo, what's going on, everybody? You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Happy Monday to everybody out there that's going to be tuning in to today's video. We got a bunch of fun stuff to talk about on today's show. New information, new reports, and new rumors are coming out from Giants beat writers and insiders about Schoen and Daboll when it comes to their job security. We'll dive into those quotes. I'll share my thoughts on what the Giants should do at the head coach and general manager position. Also, we're going to look ahead to 2025 NFL free agency, and we're going to go over the top 5 needs the Giants have and 5 players that I think they should target at those positions, with the Giants having about $65 million in cap space. And then, as always, we're going to get to a Giants Now mailbag on today's show, where we are just going to answer questions from subscribers. We can vent, we could talk about whatever. It's up to y'all. Shout out to all y'all. Already 183 people in the building. You guys are just itching and fiending for Giants content. And you know what? That puts a smile on my face, because today I came to work and I didn't think anyone cared. I didn't think anyone was going to tune in to Giants Now. I didn't think anyone cared about Giants football. But you know what? I've come to realize it's not the Giants that we're here for. It's not the wins and losses. It's for this channel. It's for this community. The live chat was buzzing before we even started. It was hundreds of people already in the chat, commenting, talking to everybody. And you know what? That makes me proud. That makes me happy that we've built a spot here where Giants fans can come talk and just hang out with other Giants fans, because we all are going through it, and we're going through it together. 215 people in the building. Let's get a real one roll call going. We'll give some shout-outs on today's show. Shout out to my guy, Ty Man the Buckeye. Philip is in the building. Brian 11. Marty, what up, my man? Rob Jigga in the building. Rob, I saw you said I was going to be late today. I'm not. You owe me 20 push-ups. Joe G's in the building. What up? Why? YCXME in the building. What up? Shout out to y'all. I'm going to move this screen a little bit closer. I think that works. We're in a new studio here. Chat Sports is under construction. We are knocking the walls down, and we continue to expand, and that's a credit to everybody that supports this channel. So shout out to y'all. Man, it's incredible to see where this place has gone from where I've started. The Big Moo in the building. What up? Greg Congdon in the building. Big Dave, what up? Ashton's hanging out with the real ones. Mark, Namir, Casey, shout out to all of y'all. If you haven't yet, please smack that thumbs up icon. Smack that all on the floor. Smack that. 230 people in the building. Only 59 likes. Those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up. If everyone could take 2 seconds to hit that thumbs up icon, we would greatly appreciate it. It's free. It's easy. It supports the channel. It lets YouTube know we're live. It lets other Giants fans know that we are live. So show some love. We would appreciate it. Ashton says, I check your channel every day between classes awaiting news. That means you are a real one, Ashton. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shout out to y'all. Daniel in the building, typing fake one. Yep, Daniel, we'll see you later. I don't have time for it anymore. Just don't have it. Everybody say bye to Daniel. Bye, Daniel. We'll see you later. Loser. All righty. My question to you, and we'll start the show. Welcome Smitty into the building. How we feeling, man? Another loss, 8th in a row. Giants are 2-12. Are the spirits still high or what?
We're almost there.
We're almost there.
We're almost there.
And what's crazy that we're talking about the end of the season being almost there.
We're almost there to the new horizons coming for the New York Giants, right? There could be an overhaul in the front office and on the coaching staff. There's going to be an overhaul at quarterback. And hopefully they bring in a couple of free agents this year to build up an overhaul of the roster, which a lot of people don't think is very good. And on paper, it doesn't look very good as the season has gone on either.
One thing that obviously, like Smitty and I, we have the game audio on when we're doing the watch parties, but it's really hard to focus on the game audio because I'm yapping, I'm yelling, I'm screaming. I got headphones on. He's got headphones on. And one of the things that Giants Twitter was really upset about from the game yesterday was that the CBS crew was blaming the Giants' lack of success this year on injuries, and that there was a lot of injuries, and that's why the Giants team is no good. And I just want to make sure that you guys aren't buying in to that propaganda. Let's not forget, PFF ranked the New York Giants roster as the worst roster in the National Football League coming into the season, and ESPN ranked the Giants as the 31st roster in the NFL. So even before the season started, there were non-biased media outlets that had the Giants ranked as a bottom 2 roster in this league. So don't buy into the nonsense that CBS was spewing. This team is bad, and they have had injuries, and now they are really bad.
They're beyond injuries at this point.
Exactly. The question, though, to you is this the worst Giants team of your life? And I don't know if he's watching today's show, but I wanted to read what Mr. Rick sent me when I asked him if this was the worst Giants team of his life. He's been a season ticket holder for like 40 years at this point. I really value his opinion, and he says yes, because there is no hope. You know, back in the 70s, the team tried hard. The Giants drafted a stud D lineman from Colorado in 76 named Troy Archer, big white guy. Guy was all rookie and damn close to all pro. The Giants defense was on the rise. There was hope. Nope. Before the 1977 season, Troy Archer, age 23, killed in a car crash in Jersey, set the Giants back. There is no hope with Schoen. Every move he makes is wrong. And then he made fun of me and Patrick Seaman for saying the Giants should not draft Bo Nix, and he is now going to be even though I still think if the Giants drafted Bo Nix, he wouldn't have success here.
Who knows?
Any quarterback that went to Sean Payton was going to have success.
And any quarterback that went to the current Giants situation this season was probably not going to have much success. Let's be honest with ourselves.
I agree. This is the worst Giants team of my life because I'm factoring in expectations. The Giants thought they were good enough to win this offseason. That's why they paid Brian Burns $150 million and gave up a second and a fifth-round pick for him. And like I know, and like for me, when I talk about it, the only team I'm really comparing it to is the
2017.
That would have been 2021.
Was it about Jake Fromm?
Jake Fromm, 2021, 2022. But at that point, like, we knew it was a problem. Dave Gettleman was on the way out. We knew Joe Judge was going to get canned. Like, I don't know. Yesterday was about as embarrassing of a product the New York Giants have ever put out. There's still 3 weeks left, and there was more purple than blue in the stands. The crowd was chanting MVP for Lamar Jackson. This is the most down bad I have been as a Giants fan in my 30 years of life, and it's really not close, to be honest with you.
They're in a bad spot. Like, a lot of people, like unbiased sources around NFL content creation, they think that the Giants could be in one of the worst spots in the National Football League as far as future and current roster goes. There isn't a lot to look forward to, but hey, there could be if changes are made this offseason.
Cecil says this ain't ish compared to the 70s. You know what? I can't compare it to the 70s by myself because I did not watch it. But what I do know is people who did watch in the 70s. That is my dad, who is the biggest Giants fan I know, and Mr. Rick, who is one of the biggest Giants fans I know, and they have both told me that this team is just as bad as those teams. But it's here nor there. They're both bad. We're arguing between wet poop and dry poop at this point. As Marty coming in with the first super chat of the day, $5 super chat from my man Marty. Appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for showing love. He says, good evening, Giants fans. And my brother Marshall. Marty, thank you for always supporting the show, man. It means a lot to me, Smitty, everybody here at Chat Sports. Thank you. I appreciate you. And let's hope that better Giants days are around the corner.
Appreciate you, Marty.
Jalen Hyatt is him. My man, that's one of my favorite names on YouTube. He's him. He's him. Says, hey, Marsh, can we get Travis Hunter and Justin Fields? Yeah, you could. Look, you're probably going to pick first or second in the NFL draft. I anticipate the top of the draft board being Raiders and Giants, some sort of combination between those two. If you want to take Travis Hunter at that spot, you could do that. We did a mock draft over the weekend where we selected Travis Hunter just to go through that idea and talk through it because there is a world where that happens. So to answer your question, yes, you can get Travis Hunter, and Justin Fields is a free agent, so you could sign him. Yeah, you could go down that well. For me, though, hopefully, Smitty, the Giants aren't picking in the top 5 in the next 5 years, and this is the time that you go and you draft your quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many times that you're going to have the opportunity to draft a quarterback that you and your front office like. There's two staring down the barrel at picks 1 and 2. You got to go QB.
I think you got to go QB as well. As Mike G all the guy does is hit dingers. Shout out to Mike G in the building. Says, love Big Blue. Love the channel. Marsh and Smitty studs. Mike G, you're the only stud here in the chat between Marsh and Smitty and I.
Oh,
we love you, man. We appreciate you.
Legend.
Thank you for bringing energy. Thank you for bringing optimism and just juice to the chat. We need it. There's only so much I could do. So for me, everybody here, we love you. You know that. Beer's on me when you come to Dallas. Let's ride.
Love it.
Rob Jigga, $20 super chat. Shout out to you, my friend. Says Rob's plan.
Plan A.
Plan A, okay.
Relive the 2004 draft.
Look at that. I say we draft Sanders, then trade him to the Raiders for Ward and multiple picks. 04
San Diego Chargers.
got a first rounder and 3 third-rounders. Why can't we do the same? By the way, Smitty, no holiday background. Rob Jigga, if you would have tuned into the live stream yesterday, you would have saw Smitty had the lights lighting all stream long.
We had the lights on the scoreboard, baby. It's holiday season. Come on, Rob Jigga.
Jigga's always down for the theme on the screen. We had it yesterday. I don't want to say too much on this topic because I do have a video coming out in the near future, especially if the Raiders win tonight, that it could actually, I need the Giants to get the number 1 pick. So if the Raiders win tonight, we'll have a video out on the channel this week talking about this idea. I've already run it by Smitty a couple of times. I am Cam Ward QB1. I am Shador Sanders QB2. I'm fine with either of those. But if you could tell me what is the perfect draft day vision the Giants could have, it's have the number 1 pick, move down to number 2, have the Raiders leapfrog you, get a handful of picks. They take Sanders, you take Ward, win-win. Yeah. We're on the same path right there, Rob Jigga.
Don't make the pick. Try to trade it before,
yeah.
Let the Raiders get one themselves.
So you're on the right path. You're inside my head of all the video ideas that I think about all the time. Raiders win tonight. Which we're all rooting for. Go Raiders.
Raider!
We'll have that video out on the channel, but I have to wait until the Giants get the number 1 overall pick to do that, or it does not make any sense. Rob Jigga, $20 super chat. You're a man. Thank you. Who is also the man is the man, Mike G, because we got a 3-point goal. Mike G, bang! Give me some MGs in the chat. Says Mike G needed a dinger. Bang! Shout out to Mike G, the man, the myth, the legend. Every day that goes by, Smitty, and we are not crushing beers with Mike G is one that just makes me a little sad.
One more is one too many.
One more is one too many. 100% right. Mike G, you got a special place in my heart, my man. Thank you for always supporting me. I just want to watch winning football with Mike G. I want to watch the Giants win a meaningful football game with Mike G in the chat.
I love it.
That's what I want to watch.
My dog.
Avery Cox in the building as well. Shout out to Avery Cox. $2 super chat says, go Big Blue. What's your second round pick, Marshall? So let's and one, thank you to you. MVP of our live stream yesterday was Avery Cox. Everyone give me an AC in the chat. Shout out to you. Man, to be honest with you, and like this is corny to say, take the best football player on the board. Giants do not need to draft for need any longer. The Giants do not need to shrink their draft board to fit positional need on this team. Whoever you think is going to be the best football player that is on the board when you are on the clock, submit the card to Roger Goodell, and let's go celebrate drafting a good football player.
Love it.
I think it was Bobby Skinner at Talking Giants. I saw a video where he talked about when you look back at draft classes 3 or 4 years down the line, you don't say, man, that was a good pick because of positional need. You look back and say, who are the damn good football players you selected? And the Giants, they need a lot more of those football players. We're going to show some damning stuff about the 2022 roster to the Giants roster now on today's video. But, yeah, like ideally, you draft someone that's going to be a part of your team and is a starter and a contributor for a long time. You don't need to draft for need anymore. Just draft the best player. Draft the guy that you have the most conviction about that can be a primetime football player. You do that, and I'll be happy with the pick. Shout out to y'all. Over 400 people in the building. If you haven't yet, please hit that thumbs up icon. Let's make this the most watched Giants stream on YouTube today. Over 400 people here, man. That fires me the hell up. Only 131 likes. I kindly ask everybody to like the video. Can we get to 200 likes before the show starts? We would be rocking and rolling if so. And then Nick Dantona. I really wanted to say Daytona right there. I don't know why. Dantona. Nick Dantona. What's up, my man? Shout out to Cam Ward. Because if we get Ward, could you see us getting his buddy from Miami? Sure. I'm cool with that. Giants absolutely need more offensive playmakers. I think you have one NFL talent level receiver on this team. It's Malik Neighbors. I know Wan'Dale Robinson has a lot of fans amongst his fan base. He's very limited at 5'8" and questionable hands. Darius Slayton's going to be a free agent. I wouldn't bring him back. I'm not going to be pissed if the Giants do. The wide receiver class is thin, but I would just rather use the $10 million you're going to go get him to go get one of these big dogs out there. And we'll talk about one of the big dogs later on in the show. I would still like to see Jalen Hyatt play with a new quarterback that will throw the ball down the field. A couple of clips yesterday of him wide open down the field, and Tommy DeVito and Nick Dantona. Tommy DeVito and Tim Boyle didn't give him the football. I don't think he'll ever live up to the hype that we once had for Jalen Hyatt, but I do still think there is a world where he could be a contributor on an explosive offense. So, yeah, Restrepo, I'd be cool with that.
1,100 yards, 11 TDs.
You got to leave the draft with at least one other receiver.
No doubt.
Draft one more receiver, maybe a receiver and another running back. You got to add more offensive playmakers. You've been a bottom offense in the NFL for far too long. We are going to get to a mailbag coming up on today's show. If you want to get your question featured, get in the comments section of the live chat. Ask your question. Share your take. Let me know what you're feeling. Just include hashtag Giants in it, just like you see on screen. # Giants. No space in between. None of the nonsense. Straight to the point. That way producer Smitty can pop those up on screen.
That'd be lovely if everybody could do that. I know. Listen, there would not be over 400 Giants fans in here today if you guys didn't have anything to get off your chest. If you guys didn't have any questions to probe Marshall about the future of this team, about the offseason, about what's going to happen maybe in the last 3 games of the year and what that might impact. Let us know in the comments section. # Giants. But the only way that you're guaranteed to get on the show is if you ask a question or have your take in a super chat. Those will be ushered up the line first, and # Giants will be there afterwards. So make sure you got a good-ass question if you're going to use # Giants.
Shout out to all of y'all. 40 likes away from 200. I want to give shout outs to everybody that's liked the video. So if you have liked the video, type me so I know who the real ones are.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get rocking and rolling on today's show. We're going to start with new reports coming out from Jordan Renan and Dan Duggan of The Athletic on their thought point on Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen. And the way I want to frame these is, Smitty, these aren't like them reporting them. These are them being asked, what do you think is going to happen? And the way that they're answering them is using their inside knowledge. If you think they're just going off the cuff of what they believe, you're very naive. They say things very calculated in a calculated way because they have heard things of that such. So I'm not saying Jordan Renan is reporting this. I'm not saying Dan Duggan is reporting this. These were quotes taken from them speaking on what they think is going to happen. And if there's anybody's opinion that I want to hear on this subject, it's the opinion of people that are inside the building at 1925 Giants Drive who might have a couple of tips up their sleeve. Shout out to Mason B, NY Kid, Brian 11, Ty Man the Buckeye. What up, my man? Shout out to Sean. J Fed says sign Darnold in free agency. Bam Bam is in the building. Jam, what up, my man? Snowboard Addict, happy Monday. What up? Nope. Shout out to y'all. 21 likes away from 200 likes. If you could, smash that thumbs up icon. It's free, it's easy, and it's going to support and help us out a lot as we continue to grow. And we are officially on our way to 100,000 subscribers. We are less than 40,000 subs away. Incredible stuff. Rob Jigga, what up, my man? $5 super chat salute. Says, if the Giants get Ward, would you draft another? No. Not drafting 2 QBs. You draft Cam Ward and you build your football team around him. You draft Shedeur Sanders. You build your football team around them. I know it worked for the Washington Commanders at that point, but the Giants have so many holes on this football team that I don't want to use a draft pick to draft a backup quarterback in the same draft that I drafted a quarterback. Just go sign a veteran free agent to do so. Yeah. That's good stuff. Tommy Mills, what up, my man? $5 super chat says, what's the point of getting talent if we can't get their best? Love X Saquon Barkley. Changes must happen. Can't keep the best is maybe what he meant.
Well, he's saying their talent or their production has been elevated to their in their other destinations. They didn't get their best production while they were on the Giants.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's free to say.
What is your solution there though? Like what is the change that needs to happen? Like player development? Like is that?
Yeah, you got to work on your player development and let's just keep it a buck. Running backs and safeties, they don't really affect the win column all that much. What record do you think the Giants would have if they kept Xavier McKinney and Saquon Barkley this year? They're 2-12.
They'd probably be 3-11 or 4-14. Let's be honest.
Exactly. The Giants had Saquon Barkley when he was Offensive Rookie of the Year and put up a great season, and they picked inside the top 10 the following year. You've had Xavier McKinney for 4 years. Yes, you did win a playoff game. Outside of that, you were no good. Obviously, Saquon Barkley's in a better situation. He's with the Eagles. He's with a team that's competing. With the Giants, Saquon Barkley was the cake. With the Eagles, with the Giants, that is right. With the Giants, Saquon Barkley was the Eagles, whereas with the Giants, Saquon Barkley was the cake. With the Eagles, Saquon Barkley is the icing.
Yep.
There's a big difference there.
Yep.
You don't want the running back to be the cake, and he was with the Giants. For Xavier McKinney, he's a good football player. I had heard the Giants did make an offer. He chose to leave. But ideally, yeah, you want to keep your best players on the football team. That's as simple as I could say. You want to keep your best players on the team, and you want your best players to be in a situation where they can be their best. Giants didn't have the best situation for Saquon Barkley to be his best, but it's almost 2025. I'm kind of
let him go.
I'll let it go. I'm kind of over the Saquon Barkley and Xavier McKinney stuff, just like I'm over Joe Schoen being the general manager of this football team.
Kind of like Yardley Moyes.
Yardley says you have to fire both of them. I agree. What is the best? Make the case to keep them. What is the reason to keep them? I don't know. Continuity?
I was to say.
And what are we keeping together? Outside of a team that's gotten worse record-wise every year under this regime, and the roster has gotten worse every year under this regime.
So if your argument is continuity, are you saying we're not going to bring in external free agents this year? We're not going to be drafting a new quarterback? The whole team's going to look different next year. Why not get new people running it?
You've got a big offseason coming up. $65 million in cap space, a top 5 pick, most likely number 1, and an opportunity to really jumpstart this organization with a new quarterback, the free agent money, potentially 3 picks inside the top 100. Why fire them? Because you're 2-11 in year 3 of this regime.
They never got a fair shot. What are you talking about? They went to the playoffs and they've looked awful since.
You're supposed to be getting better as each coach has been here longer, not getting worse.
You want to know why they didn't get a fair shot? Because they gave Daniel Jones $100 million. That's why they never had a fair shot, because they couldn't go sign other people because they gave Daniel Jones $100 million.
And the guys that Joe Schoen has signed did not work.
So the guys
like Mark Lewinsky or trading for Darren Waller.
Oh, yeah. And also the guys he drafted didn't work either.
No, did not.
So how about a fair shot? The guy's had 3 drafts.
3 drafts, 3 free agency cycles, 3 trade cycles, 3 roster cutdown cycles. And we're going to show you in a second the top 10 players in 2022 compared to the top 10 players right now. Not many of them are Joe Schoen guys. They're actually all still Dave Gettleman guys.
Oh, the ones that are still here? Yeah.
Yeah. All righty.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. 430 people watching. We're 4 likes away from 200 likes. If y'all could, smack that thumbs up icon. Be a real one. Show some love. Also, shout out to y'all, man. $98 in super chats to start today's show. That's love. I appreciate y'all. I know it's easy to tune out right now, and y'all keep me going. So why not sell the team? Because the Giants are worth $10 billion, and they're only going to continue to go up, and it's a family business. I don't understand why you would think John Mayer would sell the team. Mike G says, I don't love Joe, but what's his best move, Marsh? Beers needed in Dallas. Best move I think Joe Schoen has made. Yeah. Best move Joe Schoen has made. I really liked the trade of Leonard Williams to get a second and a fifth round pick, and then you turn that into Brian Burns. But you still had to give him $150 million, and you had to give up a second round pick for him. But you also, if you were going to keep Leonard Williams, you would have had to pay him over $100 million. So, like, I would say, and Lucas brings up a really good point. I think you could argue the extensions of Dexter Lawrence and the extensions of Andrew Thomas were two of his more shrewd and calculated moves. But when I'm talking about adding players to our roster, I would say swapping out Leonard Williams for Brian Burns, where Williams is over 30, I believe, at this point, and Brian Burns is 25. Cecil says it's not our money. You're right, it's not our money, but it is the Giants' money, and there's only so much money you can spend, so it matters how much you spend. This isn't baseball where there's no salary cap. ACOC says, I think he made the O-line less of a joke this year. I agree. I like the signing of Illuminor was a really good move. I thought he gave John Runyon way too much money. I said it at the time. Neighbors, I mean, everyone knew to pick Neighbors at pick number 6 with the way the draft unfolded. But you're right. Neighbors was a really good pick. BR Fitzpatrick says, Devil's Advocate, did he fix the Gettleman contracts and is now building? Well, for him to be building, that would mean the Giants would have to be improving. And the Giants are not improving. They went from a team that won a playoff game to a team that won 6 games and now to a team that won 2 games. So you're not building much. I understand what you're saying. He did get the Giants out of salary cap hell, and the future books are clean. But you don't win divisions off of clean salary cap books. And I think we've learned that manipulating the cap is what great teams do. So, yes, I will give him credit for cleaning up the books. But at the same time, he also didn't clean up the books the best way. He restructured Daniel Jones' contract in the same summer he gave that contract, and that's why the cap hit for next year is so high. He didn't have to do that. But he did that because he tried to think he could actually win multiple football games that year. Dennis says, Tracy and Nubin? I don't know about Nubin. I think he's a good player, but he looks like an average second-round pick to me. He didn't hit a home run there. And Tyrone Tracy can't catch the football. And he's also like 26. He's a good player, but like Joe Schoen shouldn't be able to keep his job because Tyrone Tracy was selected. Ty Willow says McClay won't leave Dallas. Probably right. But that's who I would go out and I'd give him a blank check. John Mara. There's no salary cap for hiring general managers. Make Will McClay an offer he cannot refuse. That's what I would do.
Toma Gaming must watch the show.
Mike Vrabel, Will McClay, and Cam Ward. Didn't even see that on the show, on the screen. Yeah, that's my plan. That's my plan. I did a quick 5-step plan to fix the New York Giants last week. You can go check that out on the channel. I hired Mike Vrabel. My D coordinator was Robert Saleh. My offensive coordinator was McCown or Peterson, and then we went out and drafted a quarterback. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. Toma Gaming, appreciate the $5 super chat. Shout out to y'all. 450 people in the building. Y'all ready to talk some Giants football? Hit that thumbs up icon. And hey, as long as super chats keep coming in, we'll continue to chop those up. Mike G coming back again with a $10 super chat. The MVP, Mike G. We're going to start calling that. The MVP is the Mike G award of the day. The Mike G award of the day is going to Mike G. He's the MVP so far. Everyone give me an MG in the chat. Best initials in the game. It says lot of super chats flying out of Jersey. Thank you, bro. What percentage is Daboll and Joe back? Knowing Mara, what do you think he does not want? Knowing Mara, what do you think he does not what we want? Okay, I understand what you're saying. If you asked me 2 days ago, I would have said I think Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll are back. After listening to what Jordan Renan and Dan Duggan, two of the most tapped-in beat reporters, say, I think it's a 50-50 shot at this point. I think it's a 50-50 shot on whether Joe and Brian are back. Knowing Mara, what do you think he does? Everything I've known about John Mara is he's quick on the trigger to fire these cats. He fired Pat Shurmur after 2 years. He fired McAdoo after 2 years. He fired Joseph Judge after 2 years. He has been a little bit longer and more patient with general managers. Jerry Reese got a long time. Dave Gettleman got too long. Knowing Mara, I'm sure he wants to keep both because he looks at firing all these guys at control every 2-3 years as a distraction, and it makes you a fool. But I also know John Mara does not like being embarrassed, and the Giants have put an embarrassing product on the field this year. In fact, 2 planes bought by Giants fans have flown over the stadium in disgust saying, fire everyone, and we're not going to quit. Keep doing it to who's ever doing it, because I promise you John Mara is throwing a trash can in his suite every game day. We also know John Mara wanted to give Daniel Jones 6 years to prove that he could maybe be a top 25 quarterback in this league. I think it's 50-50. I really do. I really do think it's 50-50. I'd fire him. I don't know exactly what John Mara is going to do. I don't. We're going to talk about what some beat reporters think, though. They've got a better idea than me. Lonnie Beard says, you are welcome. I will keep doing it. Lonnie, if you did it, you know what? You can come on the show. We'll do a show together. 450 people watching, 239 likes. Hit that thumbs up icon, and let's get into it. Is John Mara going to smarten up and fire Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll? We've got new information coming from the New York Giants beat reporters where they shared their opinion, and it sounds like they think that the house will be cleaned. We're going to break all those quotes down on today's show, but I want to gauge the audience that is tuned in to today's video. Do you want the Giants to clean house? If you do, hit that thumbs up icon. And if you don't, give me a reason as to why these two clowns should stay in charge. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. I appreciate everybody for stopping by. You know what? It fires me up that you guys continue to stop by. The Giants may be 2-11. They may have lost 8 games. And are they 2-12 at this point? 2-12. I can't even keep track of the losses. There's so many. Still 3 weeks left in the season. You guys could quit, and you don't. That fires me up, and it makes me want to do the very best job I can to get you the very best Giants content every single day. Today's video, we're going to react to what Jordan Renan of ESPN and Dan Duggan had to say and what they think, not what they're reporting, what they think is going to happen this offseason. And let's start with Renan of ESPN. He said that he thinks there is greater than a 50% chance that Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll are fired. For the last couple of weeks, I thought John Mara was not going to do it. I did not think he would fire Joe Schoen. I did not think he would fire Brian Daboll. He came out midseason and said he did not anticipate changes being made this offseason. But since he said that, you're now on QB4 of the season. There's been 2 planes flown over Metlife Stadium that embarrassingly called out John Mara, saying, Mr. Mara, enough is enough. Fire everyone and do it. And if you don't do it, we're going to continue to do this. And I know John Mara does not like being embarrassed, And this is the most embarrassing product the Giants have put out in a long, long time. Dan Duggan via Talking Giants on YouTube. Shout out to Bobby. Shout out to Justin. They had Dan Duggan on the other day. Go check it out. Awesome video. Bobby asked Dan, what do you think is going to happen? And he said, no way Daboll is back. And he said, I think they are both gone. And I think that Dan and Jordan are two of the most tapped-in beat reporters out there. And when they speak, we should listen. I think that there's probably some substance as to why they believe these things. And you know what? I'm going to believe them. So there is a shot that they both are canned. Renan went on to write an article on Monday for ESPN, and he said this. It's hard not to think an organizational overhaul is possible, considering the Giants haven't won since October 6th. It doesn't matter if owner John Mara said in late October that Coach Brian Daboll and general manager Joe Schoen are safe. Things change when you have the league's worst record in year 3 of a regime. And things also change when you lose 8 games in a row. And things can also change when you lose 12 straight games. I think it's 9 games in a row. You lose 3 more, you're going to close the season on a 12-game losing streak. Things can change. I remember when the report came out that John Mara spoke to the media saying, I do not anticipate changes being made. I said, you know what? 10 weeks is a long time. Look where we are now 7 weeks later, and there are still 3 more weeks to go. I've been on this take for about 4 weeks now at this point. I think both should be fired. And it really comes down to this. I know I want the Giants to lose. I know I want the Giants to tank. It does not give an excuse to the product that they are putting out. Joe Schoen is not doing his job well enough to keep his job. He is not earning the job. That's the type of job you've got to earn day in and day out. Joe Schoen has not earned the opportunity to keep that job. Brian Daboll has not earned the opportunity to remain the head coach of the New York Football Giants. Why? Because the football team is in a worse spot now than when both of them took over in 2022. The record has gotten worse every year. And to quote my man Bill Parcells, you are what your record says you are. And the Giants are 2-12, the worst record in the NFL, which means the Giants and everybody that's employed by them are the worst in the NFL. Like, outside of the record getting worse every year, the roster gets worse every single year. The roster right now is in a worse spot than when Joe Schoen got hired. And remember who was doing the job before Joe Schoen got hired? It was Dave Gettleman, the same man that was using a Wii remote in the 2022 NFL draft class to move along his big board. A Wii remote. And we are in a worse spot then. I think this is the best way to just summarize it. Think about who were the best players on the New York Giants in 2022 when Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll took over. Saquon Barkley, gone. Andrew Thomas, still here. Dexter Lawrence, still here. Leonard Williams, gone. Xavier McKinney, gone. Julian Love, gone. Adoree Jackson, you didn't bring him back. Now you brought him back. Now he's cooked. Darius Slayton, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Daniel Jones. Somehow I tried so hard to find someone else to put at the number 10 spot, but I had to put him here, and then you gave him $100 million. So look at that list. And now look at the top Giants in 2024. Let's do an exercise. Dexter Lawrence, not brought here by Joe Schoen. Andrew Thomas, not brought here by Joe Schoen. Darius Slayton, not brought here by Joe Schoen. So you've added Brian Burns, Malik Neighbors, Bobby Okereke, who is declining, Jermaine Illuminor, who was supposed to be a starting left guard that you had to move a right tackle. And I'll tell you this much. Finding top 10 Giants to go on this list was so sick. I had to include Micah McFadden, Tyrone Tracy. This team is in a bad spot. You haven't added one blue chipper to this roster outside of Brian Burns. And you had to go out and give a 2nd and 5th round pick at $150 million to do so. You've been here 3 years, and you haven't improved the roster. It's actually in a worse spot. And for all the people that talk about, man, the injuries knocked us out this year. Giants are no good because of the injuries. Well, PFF and ESPN, who are non-biased media outlets that cover the National Football League, ranked the New York Giants as the 31st and 32nd worst roster in the NFL going into the season. It ain't because of the injuries. The injuries also made you worse, but you were worse than almost everybody in this league, even before preseason week number 1. Joe Schoen, I will never, ever forget what you told me and what you told millions of New York Giants fans at your introductory press conference. You were asked, do you think you will have to tear this whole thing down and rebuild? And you said, with the most smug look on your face, like you always think you're the smartest man in the room, I don't believe in rebuilds. I believe you can compete today and build for tomorrow. The Giants didn't compete yesterday. The Giants are not competing tomorrow. The Giants are not competing at all in the 2024 season. And what the hell have you built? What roster have you built that can compete for today or for next week? Joe Schoen, you have failed, Big Blue. Joe Schoen, you have failed the New York Football Giants. And for that, you should be fired. Joe Schoen should not be the general manager of this football team heading into the 2025 offseason with $65+ million to spend and a top 2 pick to select potentially, hopefully, the next Super Bowl winning quarterback for the New York Football Giants. You have not earned that right because the job you have done here is something that should get you fired. It's that simple. We'll talk about Brian Daboll around the corner and why I also think he should be fired. But make sure you are subscribed to the channel. This offseason is going to be nuts for Big Blue, and I don't want you to miss any of it. So subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, and help us reach our goal of 62,000 subs. We are 275 subscribers away. If you bleed Giants blue and you want to help out a fellow diehard Giants fan, smash that sub button right now. Coming up next, why I think Brian Daboll should pack his bags just with Joseph Schoen. But first, I got to give a major shout out to our proud sponsor, Game Time. If you're looking to buy tickets, last-minute tickets to a sporting event, a concert, a theater event coming up soon, download the Game Time app and use the promo code ChatSports, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. Game Time makes sure that you get the best seats for the lowest price guaranteed. The reason that Game Time is the only ticketing app I use is because I know Game Time is going to do everything within their power to make sure I get the best deal possible. I got the best deal possible when I went to go see the Grateful Dead concert. I got the best deal possible when I got to go see Knicks versus Mavs. When I went to the Home Run Derby, all of those times were awesome, and I was able to make it happen because of Game Time. And if you use these two features, all-in pricing and Game Time picks, you are going to make sure that you get the best seats for the lowest price guaranteed. That all-in pricing feature is awesome. We all get hidden fees on these other on these other ticket apps, not on Game Time. So download the app, create an account, and use that promo code ChatSports, CHATSPORTS, and get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. All righty. Brian Daboll, I do think there is a world where you could be a successful head coach in the National Football League. I do think there is a world that can exist where Brian Daboll is the right head coach to develop the next quarterback for the New York Football Giants. But I think in this business, you got to look at things like this. Why did Brian Daboll get hired? And is Brian Daboll doing the things that got him hired at an elite level? He is not. Daboll has struggled at what he's supposed to be good at. And maybe that's because he's not been given the proper equipment, the proper players. But let's just take it for what it is. He has not been able to develop any of the 5 different quarterbacks that have played for the New York Giants since he got here. Maybe they all just stink. Maybe they're all just no good. But I know that a good coordinator can make a shitty quarterback look not so shitty. And I don't think any quarterback the Giants have employed over the last 5 years have played over their expectations. He's supposed to be a QB guru. He's supposed to be a QB whisperer. He's the guy that got Josh Allen off the ground. Can't believe I believed that for 1 second. He has not done it. Number 2, you're supposed to be a good play caller. You're supposed to give your team an advantage every single Sunday. You got hired to be the head coach of the New York Football Giants for what you did as the play caller for the Buffalo Bills. And I know there's a lot more to play calling than just scoring in the red zone, but I'll just break it down bit by bit. The Giants are scoring touchdowns on just 42.1% of red zone trips this year. Dead last in the NFL. We also know that Brian Daboll was the play caller in disguise last year for the New York Giants. Last year, they scored touchdowns in the red zone at a 44.1% clip. Second last in the NFL. So you actually got worse as a red zone play caller when you became the bona fide play caller. And when you were not the play caller for the New York Giants in 2022 and Mike Kafka was the guy, the Giants scored touchdowns on red zone trips at a 64.8% clip. Top 5 in the NFL. So you go from 5th to 31st to 32nd. Just like the record. Worse and worse and worse every single year. You're supposed to be able to dial it up in the red zone. You haven't done it in 2 years for this football team. You're also supposed to be a guy that can get the most out of their football team and be able to make those gutsy play calls. Be able to go and draw up a great fourth down conversion. You're 19th in the NFL in fourth down conversion rate this year. And I believe if you just took away all the QB sneaks, you'd be bottom 5 in the NFL. What about 2-point conversions? How good of a play caller are you when the marbles are on the table and you got to go get 2 points to win the football game? You know what an idiot does? He calls a swinging gate play that Coach Fred Green taught the Pecan Grove Hurricanes when we were 7 years old. I was 7 years old when I was taught how to stop the swinging gate. And Brian Daboll brought it out in the National Football League. And it's not that it got stopped. The Giants didn't even know how to run it. You've been a joke on fourth down, you've been a joke in the red zone, and you've been a joke on 2-point conversions. 21st when it comes to 2-point conversion rate this year. So he doesn't give you an advantage on red zone trips. He doesn't give you an advantage on fourth down play calls, and he doesn't give you an advantage on 2-point conversion plays. Does Brian Daboll give you any sort of advantage on Sundays? I don't think he does anymore. And maybe he doesn't have the proper talent. That's definitely an argument you can make. But good coaches find a way to win. Great coaches find a way to put their team in position to have success. And I just don't think he does that anymore. And I feel like he did. I feel like he did do that in 2022. Or was that Mike Kafka? And was that Wink Martindale? Who, two guys that he removed from their job, essentially. He couldn't coexist with Wink Martindale, so he quit on him. He took over the play calling for Mike Kafka. He can't even build a staff. Can't even build a staff. Shane Bowen stinks. He cannot be here next year if Brian Daboll's back, which means that would be the third defensive coordinator in 4 years for Brian Daboll. Are you going to get a new offensive coordinator? Because Mike Kafka's out of here, which means that would be the third offensive coordinator in 4 years. You already had to fire Bobby Johnson, and you brought in Carmen Brasillo, best hire you've ever made. The special teams coordinator, you've already hired too. He's going to be fired after this year. He can't build a staff. He can't give you an advantage on third down. He can't give you an advantage on fourth down, in the red zone, on 2-point conversions. I think we like the idea of the made-up version of who Brian Daboll is instead of who he actually is. Who is a play caller, who is in over his head at the head coaching position. And even I just fell a victim to this. He's not a good play caller because since he's been the play caller, the Giants are the worst offense in the NFL. Just doesn't move the needle anymore. And I want a head coach that I believe going into every game gives me the best chance to win and gives me an advantage over the other coaching staff. Giants don't have that in Brian Daboll. What do you think? Should the Giants fire Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen? Is it time? Is it time to move on from the Buffalo duo? Type F for fire, type K for keep. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram at @MarshallGreen_. Give me a follow, and let's go Big Blue.
F for fire, K for keep. Let us know in the chat. A lot of Fs. A lot of Fs. If anybody's typing K, let us know why. Stanley, like Stanley saying K. Why are we saying K, Stanley?
I don't know, man.
Who's a good replacement? Probably anyone. They're dead last in offense.
And that's his calling card. Like, I get it. The talent is not good. But one time, can you make lemonade out of lemons and sugar? Like
Giants
one time.
When has the Giant seen green grass in their purview this season? When has there not been a defender within 4 yards of a giant weapon at some point this year. Walk-in touchdown. There hasn't been one Giants walk-in touchdown this year.
Like, I don't think Brian Daboll is the worst coach in the NFL.
I don't either.
I don't think he is a bottom 5 coach in the NFL currently employed. But he's not a top 20 guy. And are you winning a Super Bowl with a not top 20 NFL head coach? I don't really think so. You know what? If he stays the coach, I hope he proves me wrong. But has there ever been a coach that led a team to the number 1 overall pick and then won a Super Bowl? Someone want to do a stat dive for me out there? Has there ever been a head coach that led his team to the number 1 overall pick and then down the line with that same team won a Super Bowl? Maybe there is. Maybe there isn't. Is Brian Daboll going to be the first? Because we're the New York Giants. It don't mean a thing without the ring. Number 5. That's what we're chasing. Not 5 wins in a season. Not 5 touchdowns in a game. Lombardi number 5. Is Brian Daboll a Fetty guy? Maybe. I haven't seen anything in the last 2 years that tells me that. Jermaine Mo Betta. Jermaine Mo Brown, what up, my man? Shout out to you, $5 super chat. First time super chatter for Jermaine Mo Brown. Shout out to you, my man. Appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate the super chat. Says, real one from day one from Brooklyn. The 93 and 03 Giants were horrible. Also, the Dave Brown and Danny Cannell Giants were trash as well. Love Cam Ward. So I was born in 94. I don't necessarily remember everything about the 2003 Giants. This is a top 2 worst Giants team in my lifetime between 2021 and this year. But I will defer to anybody that has watched this team longer than me on that. And if you say that those teams are worse, I'll take that into consideration.
That 03 team have Kurt Warner on it?
03 would have
The
been
season before Eli. Or was Kurt brought in as a veteran bridge for Eli?
I'm pretty sure he was.
Rams might have been in the Super Bowl that year.
The 2003 Giants were 4-12 with Jim Fossil as their head coach, averaging 15 points a game and giving up the 29th most points per game of 24. So the 30th ranked scoring offense, 29th ranked scoring defense.
That's really bad.
You started that year 1-1, 2-1. You started that year 2-1.
It's kind of crazy.
And then you were 4-4 and you lost the rest of them. You were 2-3, then you were 2-4, then 3-4, then 4-4, and you lost the final 8. Kerry Collins was the quarterback, and then Jesse Palmer started 3 games as well.
Woof.
Due to injuries because of Kerry Collins.
The Giants are they're bottom, the 32nd offense this year.
George Carmichael says, come on, bro, you're forgetting the inheritance of a piss-poor quarterback who got his bag and gave up on this team. The quarterback that was re-signed with Brian Daboll as a head coach. Do you think Brian Daboll was pounding the table saying don't do it and they did it? I guarantee you Joe Shane said, Brian Daboll, do you think you can get this done with Daniel Jones? And he said yes. I promise. Bryce, we are going to get into a mailbag on today's show, brother.
Yes, sir.
We are.
Shout out to Jermaine, BK Bourne. Gotta love it.
Shout out to you, Jermaine. Joey DeLuca coming by, showing some love. Shout out to you, Joey. Always in the building. We appreciate you. J.R. Smith goated. What up, my man? A new Lolo. Remember how hyped we were after Banks High and JMS? Yeah. Which also tells me that, like, the development is an issue as well. Because everyone loved the picks. Giants were considered draft winners after 2023.
JMS was considered a steal.
Jalen Hyatt in the 3rd round, a steal.
Won the Volodikov. Like, Deontay Banks, they trade up to get him. They trade up to get the first 2 guys there.
Giovanni says, give Daboll one last shot. Okay, so you're going to draft a quarterback. You're going to give Daboll a shot. Let's say the Giants stink. You're going to fire that quarterback, that coach, and then you're going to have a new head coach, coach number 2, and year number 2 of the head coach. That's blasphemous. That's what the Chicago Bears have done 3 times in a row. And that's why the Chicago Bears are the armpit of the National Football League. No. If you're going to keep them, you better keep them for the next 3 years. If you're going to fire them, blast them to the moon right now. You don't enter 2025 with Brian Daboll on the hot seat. Or you're going to do what the Bears did, which is draft a new quarterback, hire the head coach, fire the head coach. Draft a new quarterback, keep the head coach, fire the head coach. They did it 3 times. That's why the Bears are a joke.
We're trying not to do that.
Don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. We're going to do a mailbag coming up in a second. If you want to be featured on today's show, hashtag Giants or Super Chats. A lot of great questions came in via Super Chats. And our rule here is Super Chats that are Giants applicable are guaranteed to get on the mailbag. So if you want to guarantee your spot, agreed, Bill. Agreed. Like, you cannot enter 2025 being one bad year away from firing Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll. If you're ever one thing away, like if I am one mistake away from Smitty effing up and then I'm going to fire him as the producer, no, I'm just going to fire him now. I'm not going to wait for one more mistake. If you're that close from being one more away from anything in life, just move on.
Because it's probably going to happen again.
Yes. If you're one more argument away from breaking up with your spouse, just break up. If you're one more anything away from anything in life, you've already come to the decision in your head that it's not good for you. Just move on before the one thing happens. Get in front of the bad news. I don't know, man. Stanley says, hey, Marshall, don't you want to tank, so why are you complaining? That has to be, and I don't mean to disrespect you by saying this, Stanley, you're one of 1,000 people who have said that, is the dumbest comment I have ever heard on this channel. The dumbest comment I have ever heard on this channel. Just because I want the Giants to lose doesn't mean I have to accept the piss-poor coaching job the Giants have done. Like, what kind of logic is that?
We don't change anything on the field. We just react to it.
It is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. And I say that in the most respectful way because it's not just you. Like we had Nope in the chat saying that earlier. Just because I want them to lose doesn't mean I want them to do a shitty job of coaching. No one was upset the Giants lost yesterday. We were upset in the fashion that they lost. A 21-point ass beating at home where Giants fans are flying planes over the stadium, where Giants fans are leaving jerseys on the floor of the bathroom, where there's nothing but purple in the seats. Like, just because I want them to lose doesn't mean I have to put up with the losing. And I'll tell you this much. Giants weren't trying to lose before they benched Daniel Jones, and they did a lot of losing. I don't know if I'm not articulating myself in a right way, Smitty. I don't understand how people cannot grasp that.
I mean, look, listen, teams can be bad. Teams can be decimated by injury, but you can still go out there and be confident that the next year your coach is going to be, have the guys behind their back. We're not confident in that anymore. Like, their performances and their decision making and all this has led to the video that we just made. Like, we showed you numbers, man. They don't lie. They don't lie.
I'm trying to think of an analogy to put this to, and I've got one in my head, and it's not appropriate to say on the internet. But I know it would hammer it home.
Okay, because firing Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll is not a good move because all it's going to do is lead to more instability that will set the franchise back for 5 more years.
I don't agree. And you know what? We'll agree to disagree.
It's okay.
We'll agree to disagree. There's nothing I've seen this year out of Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll that tell me they could put a Super Bowl roster and coach that Super Bowl roster together. But I'm supposed to be okay with it because I want them to lose because they started the season 2-8. Like, do you not? Guys, do y'all think the Giants are losing games on purpose? Do you actually think that? You think Brian Daboll is going out there saying, guys, we're not going to play hard. I'm not going to coach my best. We're actually, when you tank Monday to Saturday. You don't tank on Sunday. The Giants aren't actively trying to lose games on Sundays.
Promise when the ball is snapped, the guys are giving it 100%.
And Brian Daboll knows he's coaching for his job.
Yep.
You think Malik Neighbors is playing through injuries if they want to lose on purpose? You think Brian Burns is playing through injuries if he wants to lose on purpose?
They don't.
Wanting to lose doesn't mean I have to be okay with the product. The product is shit. Product is shit. All righty. Let's look ahead to 2025. 5 players the Giants should target. Can you change that to target instead of sign? I wrote sign, but I want to change it to target.
Sure, go ahead.
How many games can you win with Tommy and a 4-string QB? I'll answer your question with a question. How many games should you win with the second highest paid player in the NFL at the quarterback position? Is the answer 2? Is the answer 2? You guys do realize that Daniel Jones is 3-14 in his final 17 games as a starter.
That's not good.
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
All right.
Thank you, Bill. I just don't get it why I feel like I'm not doing a good job of articulating myself, but it is. You know why I want the Giants to lose, Smitty? Because they were so bad at trying to win, now it's the best chance for them to get better down the line.
Yeah.
That's why I want them to lose. I didn't want them to lose week 1. I didn't want them to lose week 5. I didn't want them to lose week 10.
It's week 16 now. It's over.
All right. Let's do it. With the Giants sitting at 2-12 so far in the 2024-2025 NFL season, I thought it would be a good idea to look forward and think and talk about a way to improve this roster, which is a joke. So we're going to go through 5 players at 5 positions of need that I think the Giants should target in 2025 NFL free agency. My question to you before we do that is, what is the biggest need outside of the quarterback on the New York Giants roster? And I don't mean right now. Think about a healthy team, hopefully healthy going into 2025. Biggest need outside of QB. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by as we get ready to talk some New York Football Giants free agency targets going into 2025. As we sit, the New York Giants are projected is the word. Speak. The Giants are projected to have around $65 million in cap space going into the year, and that's with no restructures, and that's with the salary cap coming in at a number that we were anticipating, whereas last year it came in at a much higher number. So this number could be even higher. In my opinion, the biggest 5 needs the Giants have outside of QB in no order include defensive tackle, offensive line, offensive playmakers, corner, and safety. So yeah, they've got a lot of holes. We're going to go through all 5 positions, and I'm going to give you just one name at all 5 positions that I think the Giants should at least target. I'm not saying go out and sign. Would be fine with it if they sign any of these players, but guys, they should go out and target. Let's start with defensive tackle. And I'll start with this because I think it's important. The 2025 draft is stacked with defensive tackles. And think about it like this. You already are paying $100 million to Dexter Lawrence. So you're probably not going to go out and give the bag to one of these defensive tackles out there. But you need one, and you need a guy that can go out and produce. Someone that I'm looking at is the former 4th-round pick out of Texas A&M, the 24-year-old defensive tackle, Bobby Brown III for the Los Angeles Rams. He is one of the better run-stuffing defensive tackles in the National Football League. And as we know, the New York Giants are one of the worst run-stopping teams in the NFL. You need someone next to Dexter Lawrence that can hold the line of scrimmage, get off blocks, and make plays. And Brown is one of the best in the business at doing so. Is he an elite player? No. Is he someone that's going to make you wake up in free agency and talk about, we got the best D tackle? No. But what does he do good? Run defense. He is ranked by Pro Football Focus as the 21st best run defender in the NFL at the defensive tackle position. He's not a pass rusher. He's not. But he's someone that gets off blocks and he makes plays. He's got 15 stops this year, 54th most at the defensive tackle position. Giants aren't going to go out and spend a bag on DT, but this is a value signing that I think could be a starter for this football team next year. He's only 24 years old, so he can still get better, and you can still address the need in the NFL draft. Brown is someone that would be on my short list of defensive tackle free agency targets. It's not that good of a list. Another guy I would keep my eye on is B.J. Hill. Once a Giant, always a Giant. Let's go to offensive line. This is if I had to create a big board of free agent targets for Marshall Green for the New York Giants, Trey Smith would be number one. The interior offensive lineman for the Kansas City Chiefs. Played 13 games this year. Goose egg. Gonna start calling him Goose Egg Smith. Has not allowed a single sack all year long. He is widely looked at as one of the best interior offensive linemen in the National Football League, and I'm sure that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to want to keep him, and I'm sure he's going to want to stay with the Kansas City Chiefs. But is there a world where the Chiefs can pay everybody? I'm not so sure. 15th overall when it comes to grade, 38th in pass blocking, which doesn't really compute for me because he hasn't given up a sack this year, has given up like 20 pressures, but sacks is what matters to me, and he is one of the best run-blocking interior offensive linemen in the National Football League. We need someone that can move people. We need someone that can create running holes for whether it's Singletary or Tyrone Tracy. And I was talking to my guy Jack Sperry, host of Steelers Talk here at Chat Sports, and we had a great conversation about how do you build around a rookie quarterback. Like if you had to power rank what is important, play calling, offensive line and protection and weapons, I would think protection is the most important for a rookie quarterback. So nothing matters until the offensive line is fixed. We've only been saying this for about 8 years running. If you can go out and sign Trey Smith to play guard, and your guards are Runyon and Smith with Thomas and Illuminor at your bookend tackles, and maybe JMS or somebody else playing there, that's at least a middle of the pack to maybe top 12, 13, 14 offensive line in this league. Of course, if you stay healthy. You want to draft a QB? You want to add a rookie quarterback? You want to build an ecosystem that can produce results from that rookie QB? Solidify the offensive line. Go out and sign Trey Smith. That'll make the opportunity for Ward or Sanders much more likely to be successful in this league. So once you go out and add an offensive lineman, go get him one of the best slot receivers in the National Football League. We've talked about T. Higgins as a player, and he's definitely still on my board, but I think T. Higgins is going to get extremely overpaid in free agency, potentially by the New England Patriots. So I'm looking for a guy that maybe comes in tier 2 of the free agency money at the receiver position, and I'm looking at Chris Godwin, the 28-year-old slot wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Still just 28 is incredible to me. He is coming off a dislocated ankle, which, to be honest with you, I'd rather have a dislocated ankle than a torn Achilles or a dislocated ankle than a torn ACL. You can come back better than ever from a broken bone or a dislocated ankle, and I think he will do so. You know, you helping off a great young quarterback, you build the offensive line, then you get your young QB a dominant slot wide receiver. And that's exactly what Godwin is. He is one of the best in the business at creating separation, being strong at the catch point, and being able to make plays. This is someone that year in and year out is stuffing the stat sheet. And I would love to bring his leadership, his veteran spirit, and overall just game-changing talent to the New York Football Giants. On the other side of the ball, I'm looking at Charvarius Ward. Hasn't had the season that he usually does with the San Francisco 49ers, but still just 28 years old. And like we talked about with Smith and the Chiefs not being able to pay everybody, the San Francisco 49ers are not going to be able to pay everybody. And I think Ward is going to leave in free agency. Not having the best year in 2024. You see the Pro Football Focus grades on screen. But in 2022, he was graded out as one of the best corners in the National Football League. In 2023, he was graded out as one of the best corners in the National Football League. He's played for the Kansas City Chiefs. He knows what it takes to win championships. He's played for the San Francisco 49ers. He knows what it takes to get to the Super Bowl. Bring a winning player to this organization to get some freaking shit done. He is a legit CB1 at 28 years old. Got good size, still has good athleticism. I don't think the dip in production is due to him falling off a cliff athletically. I think it's just the new scheme with the new DC no longer there, or the old DC no longer there, and a new DC there. He is struggling at that spot. Charvarius Ward is someone that is also high up on my list to add to this football team. At the safety position, I'm going back to Julian Blackmon, a player that I wanted the Giants to sign this past offseason to replace Xavier McKinney. One of the true sideline-to-sideline free safeties in the NFL. I think that Tyler Nubin is a better player closer to the line of scrimmage. I want to see him play a little bit more in the box as a true strong safety. Julian Blackmon is a true free safety, and you see that represented in the coverage grades over the last 2 years, and he's also extremely diverse. He's extremely versatile. Look at the run defense grades from 2020 to 2022. Look at the tackling grades each of the last 3 seasons. So he can cover over the top, he can get down in the box and get dirty with it, and he is a sound, fundamental tackler as well. A proven pro. You pair him up with Tyler Nubin on the back end, as he is still just 26 years old, and that's going to beef up a young secondary. Giants have a lot of holes on this team. There's no doubt about it. And you don't want to fix all of them in free agency. That's not how you build a championship team. You build through the draft, and you piece together positions of need in free agency. And I'm hoping the New York Giants, they do that. Name a free agent you want the Giants to sign. We went through 5 players on today's show. Give me someone you want to see put pen to paper to join this football team in free agency. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram at @MarshallGreen_. Hit me up over there, and let's go Big Blue. Oh,
Who's
Lordy.
your guy? Bronx boy.
Bring me Godwin.
I like Godwin.
Godwin and Neighbors as a 1-2 punch is tough.
Yep. And Godwin has showed his ability to be a diverse wide receiver. You can put him out in the numbers. You can put Malik in the slot. You can kind of switch him around and give your team different looks.
He's a winner.
He's a winner. He's a Super Bowl champ. He's a winner at Penn State.
Like, no diva, no nonsense.
Oh, I never heard Chris Godwin speak.
He can run block extremely well, tough catches. Like, bring me Godwin. Bring me Godwin. Godwin and Neighbors.
$25 million a year for Godwin. 3-year deal. 3 for 75.
3 for 75.
50 guaranteed.
Yeah, that's probably close. I think T. Higgins is going to get cashed out by the Patriots.
35.
Yeah. Like, he's going to get a bag. And, and Bronx Boy just said it, Godwin was having maybe the best season of any wide receiver before he got hurt this year.
Yeah, he was. He was wide receiver 1 in fantasy. He was crazy. Now, let's also be honest with ourselves. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers got some dudes on that coaching staff who could scheme these guys open. Like, Liam Cohen is his first year as an offensive coordinator in Tampa Bay, and he's going to get head coaching interviews this offseason. Tampa Bay's offensive coordinator last year, Dave Canales, after 1 season as the head man in Tampa, got the head coaching job of the Carolina Panthers. So, they to be fair, the system in Tampa Bay clearly favors these elite wide receivers. Giants also got to make those things happen in their staff as well.
Yeah.
But I like this. I like it a lot.
Since 2018, if you take out this year, he hasn't had less than 840 receiving yards. I'd love that. And you know what? I think it would be a great piece to add to the depth chart to develop Malik Neighbors.
Agreed. Veteran wide receiver. I mean, a guy who's never said a peep in his life, only been a voice in the locker room.
What's going? Mr. Rick, what are y'all eating? What's for dinner? Tell Mrs. Cha I said hello. All righty, let's close out today's show with a mailbag.
Let's do it.
Johnson, you want Jimmy G. Are you trolling when you say that, or do you actually want Jimmy G? I can never tell with you. I didn't want to talk about quarterbacks in that one. We always talk about quarterbacks.
All we do is talk QB. I'm going to line up these super chats just to see where we're going.
You want to start with the best move he made and then maybe make like a weigh-in for that?
Sure.
That was Mike G's super.
Yeah. That $10 one, I
I can title that. Title the video after that.
Yeah.
QB2. He was so bad with the Raiders, bro.
Who's that?
Jimmy G.
Oh, he's so bad with the Raiders.
I don't hate him as a bridge, though, for one of these young guys, but he's also got injury issues of his own. Let's pick up Rodgers.
Yeah, okay, dude.
I don't know about that. Mike G says Winston.
I don't think he's leaving Cleveland. Although he might if he's not going to be the starter there next year.
I love Jameis. I also got benched yesterday. Oh, he is a ball full of energy. Ball full of energy. He's entertaining. They're going to sign a veteran QB in free agency. They're going to. If you want to be featured on today's show, hashtag Giants or Super Chat. We're going to close today's show with a mailbag. Shout out to y'all. Over 4,000 people tuned in. We've been over 300 people live the entire time, man. That's love. That's love. Throwing shade says we're all real ones. Hey, if you're here today watching Giants Now on a Monday after you just got beat by 21 and you're on a 8-game losing streak.
They were 2-3, right?
They were 2-3.
They're not a 9-game losing streak.
9-game losing streak.
2-3 after the Seattle game after week 5. They've lost 9 in a row. Has any other team lost 9 in a row? I think the Raiders might have.
Bears are close.
Bears are close. They started out hot.
I think they started out 4-2.
Yeah, they did.
Deuce McBride, QB2.
Deuce.
Who is most likely to get drafted by Blue, Frank? Shador Sanders or Cam Ward? I would say it's a 99.9% chance that Shador Sanders or Cam Ward is a New York Giant. Jade Barron, that's the corner out of Texas. I got to do more film on here. I talked to our Texas fan here, Texas insider Jeffrey Cooperstein. He likes him. We have to take Shiloh if we take Shador? I hope not.
Absolutely not.
Just give me Cam Ward. I want to pick second, and I want to pick Cam Ward, and I want a motivated Cam Ward coming to the New York Giants. That's what I want. Mrs. Cha says, anyone remember me saying Bo Nix and Seeps and Mr. Green attacking me? You're right, Mrs. Cha, you did. Everyone, round of applause for Miss Cha. She was right on Bo Nix. I think I even saw Mr. Ricks tell her, no Bo Nix. But Mrs. Cha was correct. Bo Nix is a good quarterback. For now and forever, I will listen to Mrs. Cha on QB takes.
Shooting 100% from the field.
She knows ball. She knows ball. I I thought I'd spin that a little on you, Mr. Rick. Oh, that's funny. You were right, Miss Cha. All righty. It's mailbag time. That's a real name? Miss Cha for next. I'll tell you this much. Miss Cha has watched more Giants football than Joe Schoen, that's for sure. I would trust Miss Cha to run this organization over Joe Schoen. What about Lacey from LSU? Isn't he like 24, though?
That I do not know. I'm not good with ages of some of these draftees.
Which doesn't necessarily matter. He's 23. Turns 24 in December. He's kind of a head case.
He had a little bit of diva in him before the season started. I remember like he was in the news.
Let's get Baker. But you had your chance to get Baker when he was
long-term.
playing scout team D-line for the Panthers. Bucks aren't letting him go. Can't believe the Giants didn't even give out medium Cokes yesterday. Well, they're a Pepsi team, and I think that says everything you need to know. Dion head coach, Shador QB. Do we got to do a video on the Giant, them being a package deal?
Will the Giants be All-American?
Trade up to number 4 to get Travis Hunter.
Get Hunter. Bring the whole crew. Get Shermer for OC while we're at it.
New guys getting out of here at 5:40 today. Must be nice.
Must be nice.
Must be nice. I got some shorts. If I could use some help on shorts, if y'all want to help out.
Oh my goodness.
These kids do nothing over there, Sperry. 5:30 and they're just yapping their way out of the office. I got shorts. They need to be made. To make sure the new people hear me. Oh, they all left. Oh, must be nice.
Oh, must be nice.
Must be nice getting to leave before 6
I
o'clock.
don't think I left before 6.
Here's
one
Marsh.
time.
Here's Smitty grinding away. 2-12. Still cooking in the office.
Here we are live.
We are live with
Run a
over
mailbag,
4,000
cover the
people
Giants
tuned in. Alper's here. Everyone type Alper in the chat. The
Yeah.
only new guy left. The only new guy left. All the other interns left. We're going to officially make Brett Alper a paid intern now.
That's
Paid
right.
intern
Get him on the books,
Alper.
Brett. Let's go. He's grinding. That's right. That's right.
I saw TikTok boy leave at 5:30.
Unbelievable.
Haven't made me a TikTok yet. If I would have left at 6 o'clock when I was the 5th employee here, I would have got fired.
I don't think I left before 6 my whole first year here. Unbelievable.
Don't forget, you get in what you put out.
That's right.
You get in
We
what
told
you
him
put
that.
out.
We told him that on the round table.
Seeps didn't even show up to work today. Seeps is a part-time employee making full-time salary.
Rumor has it if Seeps was Seeps is still sleeping. That's the rumor.
All righty. We ready?
I think we can do it. I think we can rip it.
Fucking, I'm sorry for saying the F word. We got Lopez yesterday. Thought he was going to hang around with the crew. Unbelievable. Teach that kid how to shotgun. All righty. Let's start right away with the question on screen. Just jump right into it. So I don't have to give a weird intro and people click out by then. All right, let's do What is Joe Schoen's best move as the general manager for the New York Football Giants? I want you to answer that question for me right now in the comments section. Let me know, what is the best move that Joe Schoen has made? Let me know. Our guy Mike G, the GOAT here at New York Giants Now, he joined us on our live show earlier this week, and he asked this question, and it made me really think. Maybe because there hasn't been that many great moves. As I try to process this live, one of my favorite moves that he has made has been the extensions that he's given Andrew Thomas and that he's given Dexter Lawrence. He was a year early on those extensions, therefore he was able to get them at a lower price point than he would have if he waited. So hats off to Joe Schoen for those two moves. Thing is, he didn't add those players to his team. Those are Dave Gettleman moves. If I had to say what the best move Joe Schoen has made, I think it's a package move. It's trading Leonard Williams for a second and a fifth round pick, a guy who was going to be a free agent, a guy who wasn't going to come back, who signed a massive contract extension with the Seattle Seahawks, and then you turn that second and fifth round pick into a younger, better Leonard Williams and Brian Burns. So I'd give him that. I think the pick of Micah McFadden is up there. You drafted a linebacker in the fifth round. He's going to be a starter on this team, hopefully, for the foreseeable future. Tyrone Tracy's a good pick. I think the signing of Jermaine Illuminor has worked out really well. I think he could be your right tackle of the future. I don't know. Help me out. What is the best move that Joe Schoen has made? Down in the comments section. I want to hear from all of y'all. I think cutting Daniel Jones one was pretty cool as well. We're just going to answer questions from subscribers the remainder of today's video. If you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up icon. My man Tommy Mills, what up, man? Says, what's the point of getting talent if we can't get their best? Love X Saquon. I think the Giants did get the best out of Julian Love. And I think the Giants also got the best out of Xavier McKinney and Saquon Barkley the year they did go to the NFL playoffs and they won a road playoff game. Those three guys were huge in that process. But you can't have a bad offensive line and expect extended successful results from Saquon Barkley. For Julian Love and Xavier McKinney, the Giants, they were good as Giants. They just didn't do a good job at keeping them, and that may be more of the problem. I get what you're trying to say. Talent development is definitely a questionable trait that this stack lacks. So, yeah, you need to be able to get the most out of the things you got. And I think we could agree the Giants have not done that. They've gone to better situations, though. The Eagles, they were a piece away from going to the Super Bowl. The Packers, they were a piece away going from the Super Bowl. And Love, he's just been what he was for the Giants, just with the Seahawks, a really sound football player. Rob Jigga, what's up, my man? $20 super chat. Thank you, sir. Rob's plan A, relive the 2004 draft. I say we draft Sanders, then trade him to the Raiders for Cam Ward and multiple picks. In 2004, the San Diego Chargers got a first-rounder and 3 third-rounders. Why can't we do the same? By the way, Smitty, no holiday background. We'll work on the holiday background. We got him on game days. Yeah, I haven't done a video on this yet. I'm kind of waiting for the Giants to get the number 1 overall pick. I am Cam Ward over Shedeur Sanders. I am fine if Shedeur Sanders is the Giants quarterback. Yeah, if you could get the number 1 pick, trade down to number 2, select your guy in Cam Ward, and get a handful of draft capital, that'd be a win-win. That would be a win-win. Rob Jigga, back again. If the Giants get Ward, would you draft another QB? No. I'm going to draft Cam Ward, and then I'm going to draft players that are going to help Cam Ward be successful. Do everything you can to make him successful. I'm not trying to find the guy and then find maybe his replacement. So, no. Avery Cox, what's up, man? What's your second-round pick? To be honest, whoever the best football player is. I'm done talking about drafting for positional need. I think I went too heavy in that pool, mainly because I was following what Joe Schoen was thinking. No, just draft the best player available. Draft the best football player on the board. It does not matter the position. You want a guy that's going to be a long-term starter and a guy that can sign a second contract. The way to increase that opportunity and increase that probability is just drafting the best football player available. So I have a couple of names, but it doesn't really matter. Whoever is the highest on your board when you are on the clock, make that pick. Jalen Hyatt is him. Hey, Marsh, can we get Travis Hunter and Justin Fields? Yeah, you could get Travis Hunter and Justin Fields. I'm just in the camp, you need to draft a quarterback. I know that could be taken as I'm going against what I said in round 2. I think the quarterback position kind of trumps that a little bit. Take Cam, take Shedeur, and then move on from there. Travis Hunter is going to be great, but hopefully the Giants aren't picking again inside the top 5. You're not going to hopefully have many chances to be there and select your guy. Take him and run. Fields is a bridge quarterback, though, that I've got on my board. Mike G, what percentage is Daboll and Joe back? I really think it's 50-50 at this point. I really do. I know John Mara does not want to fire these guys. He does not want that revolving door at the positions of power for this team. But it comes back down to this. People aren't buying tickets. People do not believe. And the process is not processing. You've gotten worse every year on this team. The roster has gotten worse. And Brian Daboll has gotten worse. He took over as a play caller in full this year, and the Giants' offense is worse than ever with Brian Daboll here. So I'd say 50-50. If I was John Mara, they would have been fired after that Ravens game because that was a joke. Nick D'Antona, if we get Ward, could you see us getting Restrepo? Yeah, because the Giants need more receivers, and Restrepo's a really good one. I like that he has chemistry already with Cam Ward. I think you need to leave out the draft with at least 2 offensive playmakers as well. You got a lot of holes to fill. Restrepo's a good football player. If it's going to help Cam Ward be better in the pros, then do it. We'll answer more questions coming up in a second. First, though, I got to give a shout-out to our sponsor, Game Time. What time is it? It is game time. Download the app and receive the benefits of the best ticketing app in the game. Game Time makes sure you get the best seats for the lowest prices guaranteed. Prices actually drop as the events get closer. So if you're a procrastinator like I am, you're going to love this app. It's easy to resell your tickets. If you don't want to go anymore, you can access your tickets from your phone. And when you're deciding which ticket you want to buy, you can see the different seat views inside the app. Last-minute tickets and flash deals. Game Time specializes in that. Views from the seats and lowest price guaranteed. If you want the lowest price guaranteed, use the all-in pricing. That way the price you see is the price you pay, and you don't get hit with hidden fees. I've gone to NBA games. I've gone to NFL games. I've gone to concerts. And I've got a comedy show I'm going to soon because of Game Time. So download the app, create an account, use the promo code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase, where terms do apply. Jalen Hyatt is him. What up, my man? How about Budda Baker or Hassan Reddick or DJ Reed? I'm out on Hassan Reddick. I don't think he loves football anymore. The whole fiasco by being traded to the Jets and then not wanting to play, I don't have time for that. Good football player. Giants don't need to deal with that head case. Budda Baker is a hell of a football player, and the safety position is a position of need. I'd be in on signing Budda Baker. You need more playmakers on defense. He's definitely one of those. And DJ Reed is looked at as one of the better corners as well. I'd be fine with either of those guys being New York Giants. Toma Gaming with Mike Vrabel, Will McClay, and Cam Ward. Are you just reading back my way to fix the New York Giants? If so, you know ball. I'd love to get Mike Vrabel as the head coach. I'd throw a bag at Will McClay, make him say no. And, if the Giants can add Cam Ward, I'm going to be a very, very happy camper. Bryce Milligan, what up, my man? Imagine the Giants don't fire anyone. If you were in the mind of Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll, what moves do you realistically think they would make? Is he asking what moves I think Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll would make if they stay? Joe Schoen's going to spend to save his job, and that's a problem. He's going to overspend to try to give himself the best chance to win in 2025 without thinking about the long-term future of this team, a la Dave Gettleman, a la Olivier Vernon, and Patrick Omame, and all of those players. You have $65 million in cap space. The salary cap is clean going forward into 2026. He's going to overspend, and I don't want to see him do that. I don't want to see him. I want a GM that's going to GM that does the things to help the Giants now and in the future. If Joe Schoen is back, he is GMing to save his job, and there is a vast difference in those two things. Ox, what up, man? In 2022, Daboll made a plan that worked around Jones. After the 2023 Seahawks game, I think Daboll gave up on Jones, and eventually the team. Did he give up? If so, why? Does he want his own QB? Did Brian Daboll give up on the team? No. Does Brian Daboll want to get fired? No. Does he want his own QB? Yes. No, I don't think Brian Daboll is losing games on purpose to get fired. I don't. I'm sorry. Mason B., what should we upgrade before we draft Ward? O-line, 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 playmakers on offense, and playmakers on defense. Nothing matters until the offensive line is fixed. You want to create an environment that a rookie quarterback can have success, give him a damn good offensive line. That's what I would do if I was the Giants. Last one here, ACOC. I hope we get Cam Ward. What is one player you'd like the Giants to draft you think will be available at our remaining picks? I like Walter Nolan, the defensive tackle out of Ole Miss. I think he's an athletic freak that kind of reminds me of Ed Oliver. I'd go after him. Giants need a defensive tackle. But, again, for me, it doesn't really matter the position or the player. Just take the best one on the board. Take an offensive lineman. I also love Colston Loveland, the tight end out of Michigan. You want to add another offensive playmaker? I like Theo Johnson. Is Theo Johnson ready to be a tight end one in this league? I don't think Theo Johnson can sniff what Colston Loveland can be in this league. I think he has the potential to be a top tight end in this league. Loveland and who did I just say? Walter Nolan. Nolan and Loveland are two guys I like in round 2. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on IG. Same handle, at @MarshallGreen_. Hit me up over there, and let's go Big Blue. The only Brandon G, $5 Super Chat. Salute to you, my man. How many GM coach duos stay after getting the first overall pick? It's a great question, and I'm going to do some research later this week. I'm going to try to figure out if there's ever been a head coach that has led his team to number 1 overall pick and then won a Super Bowl. I know Zach Taylor was the head coach of the Bengals, and then they got to the Super Bowl with Joe Burrow. So that's a vote of confidence for Brian Daboll. But I want to know who's won a Super Bowl. Because, Smitty, that's what I'm about. Winning bowls. Giants, they need number 5.
And there's Zach Taylor might get canned after the season with the way the Bengals are performing. So your one example isn't exactly a perfect one either, you know? Like, it does not happen very often. Teams don't get to bottom feed and then have enough time. Like, think about this. How long do you think it would take the Giants to be a Super Bowl caliber team? Maybe not even winner. How long do you think after you draft a quarterback this April, it would take the Giants to win a Super Bowl? Because I think it would take 5 years. There's a lot of good football teams in this league. Josh Allen is still dominating the NFL. Patrick Mahomes is still dominating the NFL. The Lions are one of the youngest teams in the league, and they look like they're built to last. You just saw the Niners have one of the best talented rosters in the NFL for half a decade, and they couldn't get one done. Like, it is very hard to win a Super Bowl. I'm not so sure that 10 years of Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen are going to get you any closer than you were at the start.
Rob Jigga says Tony Dungy and Peyton Manning. No, Tony Dungy became the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts in 2002, and Peyton Manning was drafted in 1998. If someone wants to do some deep digging and let me know, has there ever been a head coach that led their team to the number 1 overall pick and then won a Super Bowl with that same team? Bill, I didn't see this one come in. Says, buy that intern a beer on me. Alper, yep, Brett Alper. Shout out to him. Staying late. All the other new cats left. I guess they don't know what it means to work hard. Says, don't want to spell it wrong. You're on the money. Bill, one of the most kind people I've ever met, bro.
Facts.
Love you, bro. Love you. Jay Liv, the Knicks played solid last night, but they need to be clicking by now. Yankees pitching.
Penny. Oh, they're pinching pennies.
Pinching pennies. Bellinger.
He wants Bellinger, I'm assuming.
Y.A.
Tittle is solid. There's a lot. Jay Liv's all over the place in this one. We're back in the 40s. We're in MLB free agency, and the Knicks played well last night.
They did play well last night, but they played a pretty hurt team.
And I think he made a comment about the interns as well.
You're good, Rob Jigga.
Kids. SMH.
Jimmy Johnson drafted Troy Aikman. Bronx Boy, are you going to make me waste a Google search?
I think you answered your own question. But let's waste the time.
All right, so Jimmy Johnson was the head coach. So it says general manager, head coach, and player personnel from 1989 to 1993.
He was wearing all the hats.
Was he?
I don't know. I have no clue. We're also talking about Jimmy Johnson here, a guy who won 5 Super Bowls, whatever they did.
Aikman was drafted in 89.
Yeah,
and that was Johnson's first year as the general manager. So, no. I'm talking about a guy like Brian Daboll right now, head coach of a team that earned the number 1 overall pick and then drafted a guy and then won a Super Bowl with him.
I'd be remiss if I will, as long as this has no profanity or anything ridiculous, I will get your super chat up on screen. But this is ridiculous out of Johnson. Shout out to Johnson. He's the man.
Who was the Cowboys coach in 1988? It was Tom Landry for his final season. 1988 Cowboys record was.
I was like, he might have just retired.
They were 3-13.
Oh, they were bad. Never mind.
So they got the number 1 pick after that. They moved on from Landry, or he moved on from them. I don't know what happened. Then they hired Jimmy Johnson, and then they drafted Troy Aikman. Close. The only one I know of through my limited research last night was Zach Taylor, who coached the Bengals. They had the number 1 overall pick. Then they drafted Joe Burrow. Then they got to a Super Bowl. I'm still looking for a guy, though, that was the coach of a team that had the worst record in the league and then turned them into a Super Bowl winner. Throwing shades says Mike Holmgren.
With Seattle, Seattle never won a Super Bowl with Mike Holmgren.
Are you talking about Mike Holmgren with the Packers? Who did they select number 1 overall? Mark throwing out Dick Vermeil. What team? What's up, Beast?
What's up, Legend? How you doing?
Must be nice. Has there ever been a head coach that has led their team to the number 1 overall pick and then won a Super Bowl with the same franchise?
Nah.
So I just looked it up. It said Landry was the coach in 88 when they were 3-13. Then they drafted Aikman in 89. And that was Jimmy's first year. The 1988 Dallas Cowboys were 3-13.
What was the year? Yeah, it was the 89 season. Because they got the quarterback the year before.
They're 1-15.
Did they pick number 1 the following year? Feels like Herschel Walker's around that time, no?
So that would be the 1989 season, which means the 1990 NFL draft, right?
Correct. Imagine there was another
Jeff George of the Colts. The Dallas Cowboys would have had the first pick, but they forfeited it by selecting Steve Walsh in the first round of the previous supplemental draft. So that's about as close as we've gotten so far.
And then it also took Hall of Fame receiver, Hall of Fame running back, Hall of Fame quarterback, and a Hall of Fame defense. And a Hall of Fame offensive line as well to get all that done.
What's up, Cody Mock? Mark says Dick Vermeil of the Rams.
They won. They won.
Well, they never won a Super Bowl. We've got that one. Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor did that.
Yeah.
Dick Vermeil, you're saying with the Eagles?
Was McVay even the? I think McVay was fired before. I mean, McVay wasn't fired. I think Fisher
so. Dick
was fired.
Vermeil was the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles in 1976 to 1982.
He might have been the coach that was hired that offseason. But I don't know. McVay could have went.
Bill Walsh with Joe Montana?
I don't know if I'm buying that.
Yeah. I'll do some research, and I'll let y'all know. If y'all have it fact-checked, send it to me on Twitter, @MarshallGreen_. Yeah, I know, Cody. I just don't love how these people think they could just say whatever they want about us on Twitter. And, I don't know. It's the New Yorker in me. I just want to fire back at these frauds. Fucking losers. Mark says, that's easy, Marshall. Orlando Pace with the Rams.
Orlando Pace. By the way, Hall of Fame left tackle. No.
So 1997, number 1 of the Rams. So that would mean 1996 Rams head coach, right?
Mm-hmm. The 1997 draft? Yeah, it'd be the 1996.
Which was Rick Brooks. No, he was fired after the season.
It's never happened! Mike Holmgren with Brett Favre. Brett Favre was not the number 1 overall pick. Right?
No.
And keep in mind, like the exercise that we're doing right now is jumping through hoops to get Brian Daboll some optimism if he were to stay.
Dick Vermeil in his first year was 5-11, so he didn't pick number 1.
No. Now, I want to see.
So, Mark loved the effort, but it wasn't easy because it wasn't him.
And McVay, I'm assuming you fact check McVay. He wasn't the coach in 15. Yeah, he was coaching 17. So he wasn't even Jared Goff's head coach his rookie year. Jeff Fisher was. They went classic Fisher 7-9. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Mike Holmgren did it as an OC with the 49ers. Oh, that doesn't count.
Does not count. What are we doing here?
Come on, guys. If anyone wants to do some homework on that, let me know. Has there ever been a coach that was the coach of their team that had the worst record in the league and then in the future with that team won a Super Bowl? If you know and you find it, send it to me on Twitter, and I'll give you all the credit in the world. We're going to sign off on today's show. Major shout-out to y'all. Over 5,000 people tuned in today.
Love it.
Love, love, love you guys. We'll see y'all later. And let's go Raiders!